Welcome back to Boxing Resume. This time around, I'm just gonna be reacting to this guy, Wes Watson. Now, for those that don't know who Wes Watson is, he's some guy who's supposed to be a guru of sorts. He's been exposed. People say he's a scammer. But this guy is always in the internet just glazing himself, talking about how great he is, how much of a man he is, and he doesn't hesitate to let other people know how much of a loser they are compared to him, apparently. But recently, he decided to say something very fucking stupid and idiotic. He tried to, suggest that real pro fighters are actually bitches. And all because somebody asked him a question about MMA fighters. And I guess he thought he would sound cool by saying this, but check it out. Tell me what you think.
Pro fighters are pussies, okay? They're only good in the ring.
Yeah, you heard it here. When a fighter leaves the ring, he forgets how to fight.
People I know will not accept a loss,
You don't have to accept it, but you still lost the fight.
okay? If a pro fighter did his jujitsu on him, then the guy's gonna come back and duct tape his family.
That's insanity because jujitsu is a very dangerous practice. Like, you can break someone's arm, you could break someone's neck, leg, you could choke someone to death. Jujitsu is very dangerous. So if somebody performs their jujitsu on you, you're in trouble if this is a pro fighter. Like, you could die in a street scenario fighting with a jujitsu guy. And what kind of jujitsu is this bullshit here? Crazy.
Okay? You don't want to fuck with the wrong people. And the wrong people out here in the world are not pro fighters.
So let me get this straight. A guy who's a professional fighter who fights for a living is not someone you should be worried about. No, no, no. This is not a dangerous person. But Wes Watson, he is the toughest steroid out dude out here. And he can beat John Jones.
You guys need to wake up. These are very big time squares. Pro fighters are the epitome of squares.
Funny thing is that this guy lives in Miami, and Miami is one of the biggest, most concentrated place for MMA fighters. There's a bunch of MMA fighters that live out there, predominantly in the Miami area, and this guy's talking crazy on the internet. Like, someone's gonna see him and check his dumb ass.
Like, come in the ring and I'll fight you. The people I grew up with and went to prison with, they don't give a fuck about a ring. They don't give a fuck if they're on camera. They don't give a fuck if they have to fucking live the rest of their life in prison. You will not beat them.
Wes is ex-con, so he's really trying to say that he is this dangerous guy that you cannot beat because he would not take defeat. This is just nonsense. Like, he can be beaten, especially when you see somebody like this who's clearly on some steroids. He's stiff as hell. He's not going to be able to throw good combinations. And on top of that, you don't practice how to fight. This guy actually admits that he doesn't know how to fight.
They will not take a loss. You guys live in a fantasy world where pro fighters aren't the biggest squares on the planet. UFC fighting is gay. Like, all that shit, like MMA fighting and all that shit is for people who never really were in fights. Like, they never whooped ass their whole life. So they're always like, I'm gonna train and fight.
This type of ramble is just embarrassing because you can see that he's definitely trying to compensate for something. Someone, especially a man, a real man, is not going to be this insecure where he just has to make himself look like the greatest thing that ever lived all the time.
Like, I've always just handled shit very easily. I never had to think about fighting because I always just extinguished the problem, however I had to.
So this man is a natural born fighter. He never had to learn how to fight. Nobody showed him how to fight. He just starts beating people up in gyms, I guess. He invites people to fight him, and when they step up, and see him in the gym, he jumps them. He has an open case right now. And from watching the video of the big guy that got jumped by Wes Watson and his goons, the guy doesn't really know how to throw good punches. I mean, he threw wild shots. He didn't throw disciplined punches. So, against Wes Watson against someone who does know how to fight, I'm not even talking about a world class level fighter. I'm talking about a guy who has a few months in the gym. That guy will beat the shit out of Wes Watson. Anybody in his weight class that actually trains in a gym would easily beat Wes Watson.
So the point is like, that's for people who like never could really fight. They had to go learn to fight. I mean, people who just handle business, they don't have to learn to fight. There's a difference between fighters and violent people.
Just to note, a violent person can also be a trained fighter. There isn't a difference. You can have a violent person, and if you're truly a violent person, you would learn how to fight. Now, if you're a criminal, like Wes Watson was, I think this is why he's saying these ridiculous things, because he's trying to make himself out to be the most dangerous, the biggest, the baddest, the best, the strongest. This is the delusion of these type of men who obviously is being affected by the steroids. This is roid rage too. Any man who's claiming to be a leader or, a strong role model, but is always yelling at his phone and acting like a douchebag whenever somebody like disagrees with him, it's just nonsense.
You should really stay away from violent people because it doesn't matter how good you are at fighting when they want to take it to the level. They'll take you out. And so there's a huge difference here. You guys have it all misconstrued. Fighting is some weird sport shit that is all these people do, and it has nothing to do with violence.
What the fuck you mean fighting has nothing to do with violence? This is, yo, I don't even know what to say no more. Violence has nothing to do with fighting, and fighting has nothing to do with violence. So, articulate. This guy will never be able to explain himself. He's a complete tool. The steroids has fucked his brain up.
Because a violent person will end your life. And this is the thing. You guys need to quit thinking that UFC people are going to be able to fuck around with violent motherfuckers.
A violent person doesn't have to be a criminal, but this is why this guy is totally wrong. He's trying to paint himself as that violent person.
Because a violent motherfucker won't lose. He won't take it. And you'll be like, wait, put the gloves on. And he's not going to hear it. And it's going to be a problem for you.
I don't think his girl is laughing with him. Kind of looks like she's laughing at him.
So what? You have an active case. Why are you talking about this?